So what makes Pixar different from every other 3D animation company? I mean, come on, guys. The difference is night and day, or day and night in this case.
Yeah, pretty much in this case. And wow, this is a very unique short because it is the very first Pixar short that combines 2D and 3D animation.
Do you know what it sort of reminds me of?
What's that?
It reminds me like the Pink Panther in some way. Like, it just feels like the characters would have like not been lost in like those cartoon shots that we grew up with back in the day.
Yeah, it definitely does look like something that UPA would have came up with.
Definitely, yeah. And so, so the idea of this is that there is a character called Day and there's a character called Night. One of them basically has the embodiment of basically the daytime and another one has the embodiment of basically, what goes on during the night. And, I will say like the inspiration of why they decided to basically base it in Nevada, which is quite an interesting thing to do, which I know is probably because it works to the character's advantage because they can display basically because there's a lot of things that go on in Nevada during the day and during the evening as well. So obviously they don't actually get on with each other at first because they kind of see each other as kind of like polar opposites. But then they listen to a radio broadcast, they come across one, and they realize actually they're more similar than they think. So then they started entertaining themselves with drive-in movies at night and the Las Vegas Strip, as well. And then obviously the day entertains the night, basically going to the beach and checking out all the fun times there as well. And eventually they end up changing from night to day themselves, and they become opposites of one another.
And for those who are wondering, who is that person who is doing the voiceover? Well, it just so happens to be a motivational speaker by the name of Wayne Dyer. And that was a lecture that he did around the 1970s, discussing about how people were so used to things that they were familiar with and how we should be able to explore the unknown because the unknown can be mysterious and beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of looks kind of 70s when you look at it, thinking about it. So it was very 70s based story, like as we can say in this. So, but again, we pretty much described what this is. I mean, and it's a pretty simple concept, but it's done really well. And
yeah.
I think that's what some people get a bit wrong. I think sometimes when they're either doing even major movies, they just get so convoluted and so crazy and so in their own story. Guys, just take a simple concept and just make it into a simple story, and just build some things around it, and hey presto, you got something that's really good. Like Presto, for example.
Exactly. Now here's the thing. I think I remember when I was in Decker's Live and Wired, in which when people were discussing about how simplicity for a lot of critics, they think that if something is too simple, then they call it lazy. If something is supposed to be perceived as entertaining, they think it's over the top for its own good, and it's not good writing. And here's the thing. There's a difference between being something really simple and something that is just tacked in. It's like, even if it's simple, you can be able to present it in a way that is very enjoyable or very touching and heartwarming. While something tacked on is like, you're just doing it for the sake of it and you're only doing the bare minimum. That's not what Night and Day is about. It's like, even though that the concept of, these two characters who are the complete opposite in everything that they do, and they showcase the pros and the cons of each other, it's not one-sided. I mean, sure, it becomes one-sided in the beginning, in which when Day is able to showcase that, hey, I can be able to have a beach moment, or I can be able to have these people in a pool. But then Night comes along and he's like, oh, but I have the stars, I have fireworks, I have Las Vegas. That looks fun, right? And then they're able to find what made them similar was that they both had the sunset. And then when the sun rises, it becomes day. And when the sun sets, it becomes night. So they're intertwined with each other. And this short paired alongside with Toy Story 3. And it actually fits really well, considering of the story that we've had with the Toy Story characters, with, Andy growing up and then moving on with his life. And then we get to know more about Lotso Bear and the struggles of him trying to be relevant and try to, take over the Sunnyside daycare center. So it's like, it's actually an interesting pairing about just because we're different doesn't mean that we can't all get along with each other. And it's actually kind of interesting because we do get to see, Woody get along with Bonnie's toys. And then eventually when all the toys come together and they are able to be in Bonnie's room, it's like it actually does look really nice to see them interacting with each other. So I think this is a great short to pair up with Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm. And the moral of Toy Story 3 is never trust a bear that smells like strawberries. No, I'm joking. But, yeah, it's whatever. All the things that Patricia just said. Anyway, I mean, simple concept, greatly executed, and a lot of fun. So definitely check it out.
I love this short, by the way. It's one of my favorites.
All right, catch you later, guys.
See ya.